Good morning. My name is Charles Gardner. I'm the police commissioner here in the city of Yonkers. Joining me this morning is our mayor, the Honorable Mike Spano, First Deputy Chief William Cave, Deputy Chiefs Frank Intavallo and Frank Cariello, and two officers from our 3rd precinct here in the city of Yonkers, 2 patrol officers. This morning we are releasing our 2012 year-end crime statistics, and we're very pleased to report a significant reduction in crime in the city of Yonkers. What I'd like to do this morning is to first give you a brief overview of the crime conditions, then I'll talk about some specific categories of crime and some strategies that we deploy, and then we'll open it up for questions. All right. In 2012, Part 1, or major crimes, are down 13% as compared to the prior year, which is a 7-year low for us here in Yonkers. And we are experiencing this reduction throughout the city on a citywide basis in all 4 of our precincts or in all 4 quadrants of the city. Before I go into a more detailed breakdown, I would like to state that these reductions in crime are the direct result of the hard work and dedication of the men and women of this agency who are out there on the streets putting themselves in harm's way each and every day to help protect the people of our city. We're also very fortunate to have a mayor who is very supportive of his police department and ensures that we have the resources necessary to provide quality services to people here in Yonkers. Now, if you take a look at the chart of the overall crime statistics, you'll see that we've had a significant reduction in every category of crime with the exception of felony assaults. Murders, we ended the year with 4 murders, which in my opinion is a remarkably low number for a city of this size. Rapes are down 22%. Robberies down 9%. But if you see the category of felony assault, you'll see that we did have a spike in felony assaults. Although we were experiencing a spike in assaults in 2011, our most serious felony assaults, which are shootings and stabbings, are down significantly. Shootings, we had 8 in 2012 versus 21 the prior year, which is a 62% reduction in the number of shooting incidents in the city of Yonkers. Stabbings were down 9%, and if you look at the chart, the shooting chart to my right, you'll see the 5-year trend of shootings. In 2008, the city of Yonkers had 44 shootings with 53 victims. The trend continued its downward spiral to 2012, where we had 8 shootings with 9 victims. That's an 82% reduction in shootings since 2008. We're especially proud of the major decline in shootings and strongly believe that our multidisciplined approach to gun and gun-related violence contributed to these achievements. More specifically, we have a multidisciplined strategy which includes ongoing crime analysis, which quickly identifies patterns and trends of felony assaults and more specifically gun-related crimes. We have a monthly ComStat meeting which is attended by our local law enforcement partners, members from the district attorney's office, and the commanders from within the department, where we constantly disseminate and review trends to come up with strategies to deal with them. In our city, we have a shot-spotter gun detection system, an automatic gun detection system, which enables a quicker and more accurate response to shots fired. And what we did is we did some research and picked areas of the city where we had a high incidence of shots fired and deployed the system in those areas. So, for example, when we get a shot spotter activation, we know precisely where the shot occurred. So instead of responding to maybe a report of someone that heard an echo that may be a block away, we're going right to the location, which is more efficient and also increases officer safety. We have a gun tips hotline. We have an anonymous gun tips line where people can call in and get a $500 reward for the recovery of an illegal handgun. And in the past 2 years, through this program, we've recovered 20 illegal handguns here in the city of Yonkers. And I'd like to add that we utilize federal forfeiture money, was money that was confiscated from criminals to pay for this program. We have a very active patrol force. I have 2 patrol officers here with me this morning. We focus on what we call hot spots or high crime areas in order to be proactive and try to reduce criminal activity. And then again, last year in 2012, we had a large-scale undercover gun buy operation, which resulted in the recovery and the purchase of 46 illegal firearms. Again, also we have what we call the SNUG program, which is guns spelled backwards. It's a program sponsored through the YMCA here in Yonkers, where individuals go out into the community and engage high-risk youths and individuals who have propensity for violence and try to prevent violence, or if a violent act occurs, they will try to stop retaliatory acts of violence in the community. But I think the single most significant factor in our strategy, and which has been successful for us, is our joint investigations with our federal law enforcement partners. Over the past approximately 3 years, we've been engaged in multiple long-term joint operations with the Westchester County District Attorney and our federal partners, more specifically the FBI, in targeting gang members and individuals engaged in violent acts here in our city. For example, in August of 2011, 65 gang members and associates of the Elm Street Wolves and Cliff Street gangsters were indicted on multiple charges, up to and including murder, which effectively dismantled these groups that were operating in the Nodine Hill area. Again, in June of 2012, 22 members of the Strip Boys gang, which operated in the Schroeder Street area, were indicted. Both groups were removed from the streets. All of these individuals are facing significant jail time, and I believe had a direct correlation to the reduction in shootings here in the city of Yonkers. These types of investigations are continuing, and I'd like to warn any gang members here that your group may be the next one to be targeted. Moving on to property crimes. If you take a look at, on our chart to my left, you'll see burglaries. In 2011, we experienced a spike in burglaries. It was actually a 5-year high for us. It was not only here in the city of Yonkers, but it was a countywide trend. So in 2012, we identified burglary as one of our priority crimes. And we've developed a comprehensive strategy to address the burglary problem here that we were experiencing. Included in our strategy was the formation of a burglary task force, which met every 2 weeks to discuss the ongoing burglary problems. And we began to focus on preliminary investigations, more detailed preliminary investigations, more detailed reports, detailed description of stolen property, thorough canvass, recanvassing, searching for video. And we also launched a social media campaign in an attempt to educate the public on crimes that may be occurring in their area so they could look out for certain things. Through forums like Citizen Alerts, we can inform members of the public about crime tips, how to better protect themselves, or how to target harden, and also make them aware, because we need the cooperation from the community to achieve success as we are doing. We also instituted a program where detectives responded to every burglary, to the scene, and they would start the follow-up investigation immediately at the burglary scene. We also started a more comprehensive crime scene processing program, and we facilitated that through a grant from DCJS called an Operation Impact Grant, where we began a program of collecting DNA at the scene of burglaries. Last year, we had 45 DNA hits, resulting in case enhancement and the development of suspects, and in most of these cases were recovered from the scenes of burglaries. Again, we've collected the DNA samples and placed them on file, and the recent enactment of the new DNA law will help us to even further clear some of the burglaries as we move down the road. In August of 2012, we recommended, and the mayor and the council supported, a new precious metals law here in Yonkers, which made it more difficult for people to sell stolen jewelry. We've often found that jewelry was one of the items that were taken oftentimes in burglaries, and that was helpful to us in making it more difficult for people to dispose of the stolen property. And we believe that this comprehensive strategy was responsible for the reduction in burglaries as compared to the prior year. If you take a look at larcenies, on my left again, our larcenies are down. A large portion of our larcenies were auto-related. Again, this year we continued our bait car program. We deployed it in areas where we were experiencing high volume of larcenies from autos, and in 2012, 22 individuals were arrested through the bait car operation. And one of the things we found is that the individuals that were arrested had an average of 9 to 10 arrests, prior arrests, many of them for larcenies. So we felt that there were a small number of individuals engaging in a large number of these larcenies. And again, lastly, stolen autos were down 22%. And although we are achieving success in reducing crime, we do realize that behind every crime there is a victim. And even though the city of Yonkers remains one of the safest large cities in the country, no level of crime is acceptable to us. So we will continue our efforts to reduce crime and provide a safe environment for the people of this city. At this time, I'm going to ask our mayor, the Honorable Mike Spano, to say a few words. Mayor.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great day for me to be here as mayor of this great city, to stand here with our men and the men and women in blue who protect us each and every day, put their lives on the line for the quality of life of the people of this great city. When you choose to move into a community, you choose to move into a community for a lot of reasons. You want to come into a community that has good schools. You want to come to a community that has great opportunities for employment. You want to come into a safe community. Yonkers continues to be the city of gracious living, as it was always called back in the 50s, but more importantly, a city that you want to come, live, raise a family in. Yonkers, by these crime statistics, and continues to be one of the safest cities of its size in America. One of the safest cities of its size in America. I was in Albany for the State of the State address, saw Mayor Byron Brown of Rochester, and he said, I need to speak to you. I need to come to Yonkers, and I need to speak to you and your police commissioner. And I said, okay. He said, what you guys have done in terms of statistics is remarkable. He said, our murder rate is 20 times higher than that of yours in a city that's just a little bit larger. That's because of the hard work. That's because of the hard work of this commissioner, who I think has done a fantastic job, his leadership team that is here behind me, and let us never forget the officers that are out there working each and every day on our behalf. They do a fantastic job at keeping this city safe. Yonkers has a reputation. The criminals know to stay out, and that's a good thing. We want to be able to live, work, and raise a family in a safe community, in a community that we can actually use our schools, and in a community that we can thrive economically. We are heading that path more and more each and every day. We have so much to be proud of in this city, and we should sing this song because you know what? Being one of the 10 safest cities in America is a great accomplishment. When you think about the fact that we're the 113th largest city in America, that is a great accomplishment. So again, thank you, officers. Thank you to the leadership team behind me, and certainly thank you to my good friend, the Police Commissioner, Chuck Gardner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to note we were just joined by the City Council President, Chuck Lesnick. And in closing, again, I want to thank our mayor, city government for their support. I want to thank the community for their cooperation and support, which is vital to our success. And more importantly, my management team and the rank and file members of this department for all of their work, because they really deserve all the credit. At this point, I will open it up to any questions that you may have. And
okay, sir. Is that a reflection of actual increase in incidents, or is that the new reporting standards that shows that's
I believe it's a combination. You know, just to break it down a little bit, about 40% of the felony assaults occurred inside of a residence. Little over half were strong arm assaults, which did not involve a weapon. I believe that in August of 2011, we instituted our automated records management system, so I think our statistics are much more accurate. Also, we went from the incident-based reporting method to victim-based reporting method, which usually impacts the assault numbers, because in the incident-based reporting method, each incident, even if there were multiple injuries, would be counted as one, and with the victim-based method, each individual will be counted, which does increase or does impact our assault numbers. Also, there was a recently enacted strangulation law in late 2010, I believe, November, which was added to the felony assault category. So, you know, we've identified some trends, but we don't really have any single factor that we believe is responsible. We are monitoring it, and it's something that we'll be looking at as we move into 2013.
In June 2012, how How many strip boys were arrested?
22.
20 strip boys?
Strip boys, yes.
If I may, Commissioner, just I might have I misspoke before, but that's common with me. Byron Brown is the mayor of Buffalo, not Rochester.
Commissioner, regarding the south side of town, traditionally people think of that as not being a safe part of the city. When you look at these numbers, you see the change because of working with the federal government, working on those gangs.
Well, you know, we work very closely with the district attorney, and we have a very good relationship and have officers assigned to federal task forces. And in certain cases, the federal sentencing guidelines are more stringent than the state guidelines. So we take that into consideration when we do these investigations. But working together with our federal partners who have resources has been very successful for us. You know, we were able to take out whole groups of individuals who we believe that these individuals were engaged in violent activity in our community. So when you're faced with these significant sentencing, not only does it remove them from the community, but it also sends a message to other people in the community that you may be next. So we're very happy about the success that we've had with these long-term investigations, and I really do believe that they have been a significant factor in that reduction of shootings here in our city.
What kind of numbers has your department been dealing with unsolved crimes, let's say in 2012 compared to previous years?
I don't have that statistic available, but I will get that to you.
I mean, just
Yeah.
maybe just generally.
Well, we've had, in 2012, we've had a little over 6,200 arrests here in the city of Yonkers. So, you know, I'd have to give you that, I'd have to get that to you later on.
Yeah, Christopher
Oh,
Johnson.
hi, we were just
Council-
joined by Councilmember Johnson. Thank you for coming, sir.
Mention the command center.
Next year, towards this end of reducing crime, and talk about any new programs, initiatives you guys could be working on next year. And,
Well, what we usually do is, like, for example, we'll pick priority crimes, and it looks like felony assault may be one of our priority crimes for the year. When we see a spike in a certain area, we'll identify it as a priority, and then we'll develop strategies to deal with it. We'll monitor it, try to identify patterns or trends, and respond accordingly. Another program that we've been doing to help stabilize neighborhoods is we've been using our mobile command center more frequently. We've been deploying that in communities throughout the city and leaving it to try to, as a stabilizing presence in some of our traditionally high crime areas, and we're going to continue that program in 2013. Again, last year we had the DNA initiative, which was a new program. The precious metal law was a new program. And these joint investigations we're going to continue. You know, we feel that they've been very effective.
The numbers seem a little skewed for violent crimes, because all violent crimes are down except felony assault. And that one category has your overall violent crimes up by 3%.
Right. If we had been utilizing, I guess, the incident-based, I don't think we would be up in assault. If we had been utilizing the old measuring method of incident-based, that number would be lower. For example, anytime a police officer is assaulted now, that's counted in the felony assaults. So there are additional added numbers to that category specifically.
You kept tabs on the gang members that you gave us 3 different gang members since 2011 that arrested in joint investigation with FBI. Have you kept tabs on how many of them are still in and how many are out?
To my knowledge, none of them are out. I don't even think any of them have made bail. A number of them have already been sentenced, and there are negotiations and trials, I believe, going on as we speak. So if very few, if any, have been released, which I think is a telling sign to other members in the community. When they see that, it kind of sends the message that if you're going to commit violent acts in the city of Yonkers, you may be spending a long period of your lifetime in jail.
And do you think that's a strong link with your shooting incidents and maybe murders being down?
I do. You know, the individuals that we were targeting were individuals that were engaged in violence. You know, some of the charges included murder, shootings and murder. These were the individuals that we feel were engaging in acts of violence, and to remove them from the community, I think, has a direct correlation to the reduction in shootings.
Any more questions?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.